Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webcast to discuss the latest opportunity to grow your business by partnering with Veeam. My name is Don Grease. I am the Manager of Business Development and Vendor Programs here at Lifeboat Distribution, and we are going to have an interesting conversation with Veeam about the new Veeam Backup and Replication V7 release and all the innovative features and enhancements that will help your customers get more out of their virtual infrastructures, and how you can position V7 to uncover yet new opportunities. Just before we jump into today's conversation with Veeam, I would like to take a moment to introduce our audience to a new voice for Lifeboat Distribution webinars. That is Joe Hamlin. Joe is joining me today, and Joe will become a familiar voice for Lifeboat webinars in the future. So welcome, Joe, and are you ready to go?
Thanks, Don. Yep, ready to go on my end.
All right, excellent. Also joining us today from Veeam is Rick Vanover. Rick is a vExpert, MC, ITP, and VCP, and a product strategy specialist for Veeam Software based in Columbus, Ohio. Welcome, Rick.
Thanks, Don. Thanks, Joe, and everyone attending. I'm happy to be here.
All right. When we spoke to Rick in May, Veeam was introducing Backup and Replication Cloud Edition. So for those of you who remember that one, you realize that we are really lucky to have Rick back today to discuss the latest release of Backup and Replication, that is version 7, and tell us what all the excitement and buzz is about. But just before we bring Rick in, Joe has some important information to cover with our audience. So Joe, what does our audience need to know before we begin?
Thanks, Don. We want you to know we encourage you to ask questions, and you may do that by entering the questions into the Q&A panel on the right-hand side of the screen. At the conclusion of the presentation, we'll answer as many questions as time permits. We're also going to be popping up some polling questions along the way. Please answer as many of the polling questions as you can, and remember, at the end of the webinar, we'll be raffling off the $100 Amex gift card to one lucky attendee before we sign off. So let's get started.
All right, Rick, great to be with you again. And the last time we got together for our webcast, you were introducing us to Veeam Backup Replication and Cloud Edition, which I mentioned a couple moments ago. But on the heels of that, just a few weeks ago, Veeam backed up that big announcement with the release of Backup and Replication 7. So let us know, tell our audience about, the new release and what all the buzz has been about and how well it's been received so far.
Well, the big news, Don, is that, an addition, a major release, right, is a big deal. Cloud Edition worked with 6.5 and just really added two big features. Put backups in the cloud, bring backups back from the cloud. And at last count, this major release with V7, 2 disruptive innovations, 7 market-leading features, and depending on how you count it, over 70 additional features were added to really help people, and it's a great number of people, over 73,000 customers now. We're really providing features that really help people take their virtualization practice to the next level, and specifically with us and how they protect and manage virtual machines. It's really a big deal for us.
It absolutely is, and we congratulate you on the great new release. But before we really drill down into the innovations of V7, I was wondering if you could give us 3 big reasons or 3 big areas of concern for customers with virtual environments that the product addresses with this new release.
Sure. So we do a lot of listening to our customers, and we listen to our partners, right? In fact, our partners very much so. We hear a lot of times, well, I could sell a lot more Veeam if, or all of my clients say this. So those types of things, we get a lot of that feedback, don't get me wrong, but we do listen a lot to that content. And when we position version 7, we had to categorize it all into specific benefits. And what I mean by benefits, really, as we see on the screen here, it's 3 separate categories of features that really speak to the needs that we have. Now, these are how we as a product team identify all the features. They're disruptive innovation, market leading, and other new features, etc. But really, we can turn this around and say it differently. It'll help us get backups off-site, our built-in WAN acceleration with the backup copy job and tape support. That's a new feature in addition to our replication, which we've had for a while. That helps us speak to a need that people have to get backups off-site. The other categorical way of looking at these features is specific benefits out of getting more out of a virtual infrastructure. So backup from storage snapshots, enhanced backup and recovery options for vCloud Director, the vSphere web client plugin. Those are very much in line with that type of approach. Now, vCloud Director in particular, that's been a real challenge for a lot of people to say, okay, I have, I've been selling vSphere to my clients for a long time. Great hardware, great storage, and the latest and greatest from VMware from the vSphere side. But VMware's got this whole thing, this whole VMware software-defined data center. That's great, but I have to manage and protect it accordingly. So some of the enhanced features around that actually speak to an immediate need to our partners of, yes, you can confidently go sell vCloud Director, and we can protect and manage it. So it actually speaks both to our customers' needs, the end users' needs, but it also equips our partners for the upsell. And then the last category of features is what we've categorically placed, restore what you need in minutes and not hours. So we can look at some of these features like Veeam Explorer for SharePoint, self-service recovery. These types of features actually empower the backup administrator or even possibly end users to do exactly what they need just to deliver the restores very quickly. Because we've arrived in a world, Don, where we can provision virtual machines so quickly, but can we recover just as quick? And yeah, I'm sure we have SLAs and policies, et cetera, that say what our performance should be in that realm, but now we're delivering features that really can restore as quick as we can provision, and that's really where we want to be in the modern data center. So, at the high level, if I had to pick three things, Don, that's what I'd pick to what these features do for us today.
Thank you, Rick. I really appreciate that explanation. And forgive me for this one, but I was so excited about this release that I kind of steered you in the direction of talking specifically about new features and benefits. But I'm just thinking here as you're answering, for any of the folks in our audience who aren't as familiar with Veeam Backup and Replication, would you mind just giving them a quick overview of where the product fits and what business problems it solves?
Yeah, absolutely. So, this graph here will help me kind of paint a time frame. And I know that we've already seen this slide, but in 2008, we released version 1 of Veeam Backup and Replication. So that, in 2008, virtualization was newer. It wasn't exactly the newest thing in the world, but, we were definitely in a world where people were still checking it out. But we all know VMware, Hyper-V, those types of technologies have stuck, right? So we've just crossed over the 4 million virtual machines being backed up with Veeam, and we actually just crossed over 73,000. In fact, I know we're higher than that now. So 73,000 customers have made the choice to go to Veeam for their backup of their virtual machine needs. And it's interesting to note that effectively 100% of our customer base are replacing another product. That's because they've run into problems. As the virtualization has changed their data center, their backups have suffered, right? So when we take an approach with Veeam Backup and Replication that's built specifically for virtual machines, and when I look at this list of features that we just talked about, I mean, some of the stuff gets really complicated. Don't get me wrong. I get that, and I know that everybody on the call isn't, the most technical, but these are the benefits that people want. They want scalability, control, availability. They want support for complex environments, and they want to do it in a way that doesn't interfere with what the core of the business is. So that's why they virtualize. That's why they, deliver great technologies in the data center. But the backup is important too. And so we've had great success in providing powerful, easy to use, and affordable data protection only for virtual machines. We don't support physical servers for what we back up. We can install Veeam on a physical server to back up virtual machines. But we pick up those Hyper-V and VMware virtual machines and we back them up. So we've done that for, this will be the 7th major release, and we've had nothing but evidence of great success to do that. And we've done that in a way where we've made it easy for partners, end users, and resellers for that matter to check out this product, everything from our free edition to our pro partner program where we have NFR keys available, dedicated systems engineers, Veeam University, all kinds of resources on many different levels, including documents like configuration guides and of course training modules for specific features. Everything that you really need to kind of draw it up as a enterprise solution to back up virtual machines. We're adding product features and then business products, if you will, to make that happen. And for the last 5 years or so, it's been an interesting and very successful ride.
Yeah, no kidding. Your trajectory in the marketplace has been like none other. So that's one of the reasons why here at Lifeboat Distribution we're so committed to Veeam and just love working with the product and working with all the great folks at Veeam. So let's get back to version 7 and dive into that a little bit more. One of the reasons it's a really exciting release, Rick, of course, is because in part it includes 2 disruptive innovations. So can you talk about what those 2 innovations are and why you describe them as being disruptive?
Sure. So they disrupt the market because they change the status quo and they really solve a problem that honestly is difficult anywhere else. So let's talk about the first one, and that's what we're looking at here on this slide. The benefit is that this feature removes the hurdles of getting backups off-site. What this feature does is that it writes virtual machine restore points to another storage target. Okay, that sounds easy enough. I'll just use storage replication, or I'll just write a script, right? Well, this is actually quite more intelligent than that. What this actually does, this is what we call our backup copy job with built-in WAN acceleration. It'll actually take virtual machine backups that Veeam has written, which is on the bottom and the middle of this graph here, in what's called primary backup storage. And it'll write those virtual machine restore points to another storage resource. And that storage resource could be a compute and storage object in the cloud. It could be a deduplication appliance on your network. It could be a deduplication appliance on a remote network. It could be a primary storage on another site. Very flexible, entirely storage agnostic. And what we do here is we can transfer this I/O with a WAN accelerated technique. Now, this WAN acceleration technology is not a general purpose WAN accelerator that you might have been selling in the past for that matter. What we're doing here is we're reading our storage resource kind of in the middle here and reading our storage resource on the right, and we're predictively determining what we need to transfer. We have a very intelligent caching technique that works from the backups we've already taken as well as other backups, including seeding options. And basically, we can intelligently transfer the absolute minimum amount of data from here to there in a very flexible way. And the number that we've put on it is up to 50 times faster than going about it without some of these techniques. And it's a very flexible technique, and in fact, I have a blog post that I'm going to put on the Veeam blog probably tomorrow, kind of evangelizing this approach, because using this technology, we can do a lot of things. One of which is we can write up the 3-2-1 rule, which will allow you to very broadly meet a data protection strategy that honestly isn't very new, but it really can accommodate almost any failure. The 3-2-1 rule states that you should have 3 copies of your data on 2 different media one of which is offsite. So maybe you use replicas, maybe you use our new tape support, maybe you're using the backup copy job with built-in WAN acceleration. And in fact, one of these offsite resources can even be a compute resource in the cloud. So very flexible way to draw this up. A lot of options for our partners to find new solutions, and best of all, for the customer, the real benefit is that this feature really brings offsite backup to people who didn't have it as an option before. Limited, unreliable bandwidth might have just gotten in the way. Well, now it's an option. The second disruptive innovation is what we're calling backup from storage snapshots. And basically what we're doing here, and I don't have such a diagram on it because it's honestly quite simple, but backup from storage snapshots lets us leverage storage arrays to do our backups. Basically, we will take a SAN snapshot. In this particular implementation, it could be HP left-hand and HP 3-par storage products, and we can read that for the source of our backup. Now, that's an incredibly great way to save time on your backup window effectively. So we've done a lot of very specific things for this, which is why it only supports HP 3-par and left-hand right now. But basically, we can maintain changed block tracking on the virtual machine, and we don't have to mount the SAN snapshot. So it saves a lot of time. So competitively, it makes a huge difference on the overall performance. And we've introduced what we call a plug-in architecture that will allow this to add other storage arrays over time, so we won't have to re-release the product. So those are the two market-leading features, and would you believe it or not, Don, they are literally a checkbox for the backup from storage snapshots and a wizard for the backup copy job with built-in WAN acceleration. 5 clicks, and you're ready to go. It's that easy.
That's incredible. That's incredible, and it's really great news for HP resellers from the sounds of it, too. For now, and will only get better going forward, I'm sure. So I have one more for you, Rick. In addition to those 2 disruptive innovations you just spoke about, there are also 7 market-leading features and over 50 enhancements. So if you wouldn't mind taking a couple of minutes to describe for us how all of this put together, helps customers save time and effort and helps them get more out of their virtual environments. And if you want to talk about a few of those 7 market-leading features, that would be a great way to sort of wrap up, the technical aspects of the new release.
Sure. So I'll take 3 of them and explain them real quick. I mean, the first 2 are the big, cornerstone technologies of the release. But the next one, right? If you're a Veeam partner, you've heard it. Tape support. Well, we've listened. It's the #1 most requested feature. V7 now introduces tape support, and that really speaks to a need that people have. And if you've dealt with your Veeam contacts in the back of every business card, it says, listening to you, building the products you need, tape support has arrived. The second of which is solves a real problem around Microsoft SharePoint. So we've introduced Veeam Explorer for SharePoint, and that's actually a great way that takes an agentless backup of a SharePoint VM and allows granular object recovery. I'll be honest with you, this was a really tough thing to do with any tool, even Veeam, honestly, before V7. So this is an immediate problem solver for a lot of people. And the last of these features is what we're calling self-service recovery. Now, this self-service recovery allows us to designate people, be it a user or a group, to restore either files within a virtual machine or the whole virtual machine itself. And the best part is that they can have a list of virtual machines. They can have 1 virtual machine. They can have 2, 5, 6. They can also leverage constructs, organizational constructs, such as a vApp in vCloud Director or in vSphere, a data store, a storage resource, a folder, a cluster, a data center, any of those organizational terms that are leveraged in the virtual infrastructure, you can have these people or groups restore files or whole VMs. Now this is a great tool for development teams, or if you have a line of business where you maybe provide backup as a service for any of your clients, it's an option. And those restore scenarios are available in a RESTful API. Now that's a lot of technology to go over, but if you're pulling it all together, that's a great enterprise offering, right? And so we also want to keep our partners' interests in mind, and these features align to the upward sell of the bundles and of the new Enterprise Plus edition, which I think it was announced in July or in the early part of the year, and became available on the 15th of August when we went GA with V7. So those three features, really speak to great needs that people have, and really our partners should be able to latch onto that and sell well.
All right, that's really cool. I'm going to turn it over to Joe right now, Rick, because he has some questions about, sort of how our resellers can really take advantage and learn how to position this to find new opportunities. So Joe, why don't you take it from here?
Thanks, Don. Hi, Rick. The next couple areas I'd like to cover is your tips for our audience on how to best position V7 to existing Veeam customers and then to brand new Veeam prospects. In other words, why is V7 such an important upgrade to existing Veeam customers, and why should new customers really take a close look at it?
Well, that's a great question, because when I talk to new customers, or if I talk to existing customers, that is it's a different conversation. Sometimes, if it's a new customer, believe it or not, I can convince someone to give us a try, even with our synthetic full backup, which is honestly not that not that new. But I would say, look at challenges they have for the existing customer. Do you have challenges getting backups off-site? We've got many answers for you now with tape and the backup copy job with built-in WAN Acceleration. Maybe for that new prospect, maybe I could get them on vCloud Director support. They've been looking for a tool, or maybe they want to see our instant VM recovery, right? That's the best show in Vegas. Find me at VMworld or something that you can see it happen. Those types of things, or listen for the HP, right? I mentioned the backup from Storage Snapshots. If they're using any of the HP 3PAR or left-hand series of products, now there will be more. In fact, in the coming months, we'll make some announcements around that. But for now, it's focused right now on VMware environments. It's a Veeam feature for VMware environments currently supporting HP. So stay tuned. But those are the things you could look for on the new customers as well. So there are some resources we have, like things to listen for. It's not really in this content, but I think we can find it on our Veeam Pro Partner Portal. So we have a lot of resources there that can give you questions to ask and things to listen for that align to specific features that can bring Veeam into the conversation.
Great, thank you, Rick. We actually do mention the Pro Partner Portal a little later in the webinar. But next, let's jump into, do you have any tips for how our great and loyal Veeam partners can maximize their profitability and grow their Veeam deals by offering other Veeam products in order to provide a more comprehensive solution or to provide essential support services?
Well, sure. The big thing is really take these new features, understand them, and know what to listen for in your client conversations. I'll be honest with you, this is a fast-moving world. Virtual machines, the storage that we use, you forget Veeam for that matter, just storage industry itself, the VMware ecosystem, this stuff moves very fast. But take the time to get a handle on these new features, and then when you go into those conversations, it should become a natural conversation. Well, you know what, Veeam has this, and VMware does that, and HP Storage does this, and then maybe we can pull it all together.
That's great. Okay, moving on. To complete the whole value proposition for our partners, can you talk about the resources that are available in the Veeam Pro Partner Portal and from the Veeam sales team to help our resellers with their V7 opportunities?
Sure. So Veeam.com is the starting place for it all. And right at the top, you can log in to the partner page, and that is the Pro Partner Portal. There you'll have access to a number of different things, including Veeam University, which actually just has been updated with all the V7 content. There's 2 certification paths that are available, VMSP for our technical partners out there, and another track on how to sell Veeam. Structured content just got updated for V7. And then a couple of places throughout North America, we're actually also doing road shows. And you can follow Veeam on Twitter. We'll announce them there, or LinkedIn. Find the LinkedIn company page. We definitely announce all those user groups and partner boot camps that are a great way to supplement these online content pieces. And then in your Pro Partner account, there's also links to your contacts within Veeam. Of course, they're sliced out across the country. Pretty much everyone should have someone local to them, and hopefully you've met them either by email or phone or joint event, etc. But the Pro Partner portal is the starting place for it all.
Well, Rick, I'd like to thank you for helping us to a clear understanding of Veeam's backup and replication V7. Now we can help educate our customers on how to leverage all new innovations. Are there just a few key points you would like to leave us with that will help us uncover some real Veeam opportunities?
Sure. The real takeaway is that Veeam is modern data protection that's built for virtualization, and it's basically that natural choice for deploying workloads in the data center today is virtualization, and we want to be right there with you. So a couple questions I saw just come in, and maybe we'll turn over to those time permitting, but it's modern data protection built for virtualization. Great success you see on the slide here. Self-funded and profitable. That's a good thing in these days. So we'd love for you to give it a try.
Perfect. Thank you, Rick, for taking the time to talk with us today and share your valuable insights into Veeam Backup and Replication V7 with our great and loyal Veeam partners. As I see, we have some questions here, so let's get started with those. One question comes in: is the backup using an image-based technology?
It is. It is an image-based technology that works at the VMware or Hyper-V level, and it is agentless. So from an operational standpoint, we don't have to put software in every virtual machine. So it very much functions at the infrastructure level, yes.
Okay, and also is Veeam support, is that supported with VirtualBox?
Yeah, we get the question for VirtualBox or Zen, KVM, Red Hat Enterprise Linux Virtualization, whatever the other, those additional hypervisors. But we only support vSphere and Hyper-V right now, the two, the lion's share of the virtualization market.
Okay, great. All right, so looks like that's about it for the questions now. I just want to remind everybody we still have some time, so if you want to get in any last-minute questions, please do so. In the meantime, we're going to give away the Amex gift card to one lucky winner here, so let's go through and announce that.
All right, Joe, pull one out of the hat, pull a winner.
All right, let's see. It looks like it's going to be Anthony from DataNet. So,
all right, Anthony, congratulations. Thank you for participating in our webcast today, and we will be getting you that Amex gift card straight away.
All right, so moving on now, we're going to check and see if we have any more questions coming in. Looks like we have one more.
We got a nice thank you from somebody, Rick, for helping them get a better understanding of backup and replication V7. So we always like to get those kinds of comments.
Oh, yeah, thank you. And, you can reach out to us on Twitter. I respond to the Veeam Twitter account. I'll give you the best answer I can or find someone, if you don't know where to start, that's honestly a great place to start. So Veeam on Twitter, the Veeam forums, the Pro Partner portal, we'll do our best to be available in any way needed.
Okay, that's great. So now we just want to move on. Before we conclude, let's quickly review our call to action. To get further information about Veeam's superb virtualization products or their great partner program, we encourage you to visit the Veeam website at veeam.com. You will find product information, white papers, and of course the Pro Partner Portal that has more free virtualization resources. We encourage you to sign up as a Pro Partner through Lifeboat, and you can easily do that today by hitting our Pro Partner sign-up page. Please contact Lifeboat sales executives for any help obtaining product information, demos, trials, pricing, pre-sales assistance, and VMSP certification training. All right, giving it back to you, Don.
All right, Joe, thanks so much. And for everyone in our audience, we really hope you found today's conversation valuable. In fact, if you like what you heard today, I really encourage you to register for the Lifeboat Distribution Cross-Channel Connection event being held at Caesars Atlantic City Hotel and Casino on Thursday, October 17th. Veeam is going to be a marquee sponsor for our event, and they will be bringing you even more information on the latest innovations, both at their booth and during their speaking slots at the show. So don't delay, do it today. Go right up to lifeboatdistribution.com, click the link to join us in Atlantic City, and we'll look forward to seeing you all there. Rick, as always, it's a pleasure to get together with you and talk about Veeam and the great Veeam product line. Do you have any last comments for our audience?
No, it's been my pleasure, and I know that everyone's time is valuable, and I'm glad Veeam could take a slice of that today and just reach out to us if you have any questions.
All right, that's perfect, and that's a great point. I don't see any further questions in the chat panel, but if anyone thinks of something 2 minutes after we hang up here, just know that you can reach out to us at Lifeboat. We're here every day to help you sell more Veeam, and we love to do that. Follow Rick on Twitter. Check out his blog, and just stay close to Veeam, and you'll find your way to success for sure. So, since there are no further questions, I just want to thank you all again for attending today's presentation. It's always a pleasure for Lifeboat Distribution to be a part of an event with Veeam, and we hope we will hear from each of you soon. So, for now, for everyone at Lifeboat Distribution and from Veeam, we want to say thank you and have a great day.